Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing, Mr. Bell? Okay.
Hello.
Okay, now we can hear you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. To begin with, we have to state where we are. We're in Baton Rouge at the Department of Corrections. Okay, my name is Steve Prater. To my left is Pete Freeman, and to my right is Chucky Tillis. We're going to be hearing your revocation that you've got this morning, and I understand that you're at CCC, and it's in Caddo Parish, Caddo Correctional Institute. And go ahead, Warden, is it Warden, Commander? And good morning to you. What is your title?
Chief.
Chief? Okay, Chief. Congratulations. Well earned promotion. And would you introduce the folks that's in the room there?
Classification, Latasha Richardson.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good to see y'all. The time right now is 9:02 in the morning on July the 11th, 10th, July the 10th, excuse me, July the 10th. And we're here to take up your case about a revocation. First thing we have to make sure is that you are the right person, that you've signed the form and all that. So your name is Eddie Bell, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you tell us, do you have a form in front of you, or have you seen a form, a questionnaire that you agreed to this hearing and you knew what was going on? And
Yes,
all
sir.
of that? Okay, and so that's all we just needed him to do is agree to that. Okay, thank you. We appreciate that. I'm going to read to you exactly what the charges are or what the rule violations are that you're suspected of having violated. Then we're going to give you a chance to talk about it, to tell all of us what, because I'm the acting chairman today for Cheryl Renatza, but that's rotating when she's not here. So we're all equal, got equal votes. And I think Pete Freeman's going to be the actual lead investigator, so he'll ask some questions. So let me go over these rules first. Are you ready to hear the rules that you violated?
Yes, sir.
Okay, or that you're suspected of having violated? Okay, this is kind of lengthy, so I'll read them pretty quickly. If I'm going too fast, let me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, rule 3, you do not live at the address listed on your certificate, which is 4017 Mervon Street. This is the address you were approved for on your sex offender residence plan. You immediately went to 3522 Dewberry, where children reside. You were instructed to move from 3522 and live at the approved residence. You stated you understood. The following morning, your parole officer went to the address where you were instructed to live, and you did not move there as instructed. Your parole officer spoke to your father, who confirmed this. You reported to the office the same day and were dishonest about where you were the previous night. You were not honest until the parole officer told you she went to the address where she instructed you to move and spoke with your father, who stated you were not allowed to live there any longer. It wasn't until you spoke with Supervisor Francis, who also stated you cannot live at 3522 Dewberry, that you gave a new address to where you would move to. Okay, that's rule 3. Another rule 3 violation is on 4/7/2024. You were in Dallas, Texas without permission. Another rule 4 violation, number 4, as far as the conduct, on 5/7/2024, you admitted to being drunk. On 5/6/2024, another violation 4, on 5/7/2024, you tested positive for THC. Rule 6, you failed to provide proof of employment or search for employment. Rule 8, you were contacted multiple times by the sex offender treatment provider before returning their call. On 4/25/2024, you were no call, no show for your admit appointment. There is an additional no call, no show date. You have not started sex offender treatment as instructed per the sex offender contract. Another rule 8, you did not report to the DRC on 4/5/2024 as instructed. Rule 13, special conditions, sex offender contract. You were instructed to move from 3522 Dewberry and instructed not to go back there. While being transported to Caddo Correctional Center, you admitted to going to 3522 Dewberry to cut the grass. This is a location you were instructed to not go to due to children living at the residence. Another Rule 13 violation, special conditions, sex offender contract. You have 2 social media accounts, which is prohibited per the sex offender contract. Another Rule 13 special condition violation, sex offender contract. On 5/5/2024, you were at Chuck E. Cheese in Bossier City, Louisiana for a birthday party. This is a prohibited sex offender contact or per contract. Okay, that's a lengthy list of things. I think I've gone over them all. Okay, sir, now is your chance to talk instead of me. Can you explain these or how do you plead to these?
What,
We've started.
We need to read each violation and you plead guilty or not guilty.
yes, okay,
And then you can provide us a statement,
All
okay? As
Yes.
to your side of the story.
yes, sir.
Come again now?
No, I'll do it if you want. I'll take the lead because I
Okay.
got a question
Okay.
anyway.
Good.
Okay, I got a question on each thing, so I'm just gonna reread the violation. And
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not gonna read all the narrative. You just tell me how you plead.
Yes, sir.
You did not live at the listed address on your certificate, which is 4017 Mervyn Street. This is the address you were approved for your sex offender residence plan. You immediately went to Dewberry where your children reside. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
Okay, well, how do you say you're not guilty?
When I
Make a
was,
statement.
yes, I would like to make a statement. When I got released April 1st, I had got in touch with my parole. Well, I actually went to probation and parole office, and they assigned me Miss Anderson. And the same night that I got released at 12:01, it was problems at my dad's house, which is my baby mama, came through my dad's house, causing a lot of commotion. My dad, 81 years old, so he don't like that type of stuff around his house. So the same day, I ended up going to the probation and parole officer, and Miss Anderson was my parole officer. So I explained to her what was going on and asked her, can she run the 3522 address, Dewberry, to see if this approved address I can move to, which she approved the address. So that would make me go to that address to keep down the commotion from my dad's house. So I ended up staying over there. Then one morning, I can't remember the exact date, but Miss Winterton ended up coming over there to the address. She walked in, asked me what room I'm staying in, asked me how old was the victim. She said she was gonna look into the situation and see if I can stay at the approved address. That was on a Thursday. So Friday, I was expecting her to call. She never called, showed up. So over the weekend, she still ain't called or nothing. So Monday, she ended up giving me a call and saying that I couldn't stay at the no, let me take that back. I ended up going to the probation and parole office, and she said I couldn't stay at the address or whatnot. So I ended up speak to the supervisor and explain to the supervisor what was going on or whatever. And the supervisor told me, and no, I couldn't stay at the address because it was kids there. I was like, okay, all right. So she asked me with Miss Winterton in the office, do I have another address? Can she approved? I'm like, yes. So I end up giving her my godmother address, which is 3435 Stonewall Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, which I gave y'all my wife's fax copies of the resident plan to the fax number they ended up giving me. She gave y'all the 3522 Dewberry address and the 3435 Stonewall address. So that's how they come about.
Okay. So, so you saying at first she said you could stay there and then she said you couldn't stay there?
Yes, see, I had Miss Anderson was my parole officer, which I never
Right.
seen. Then when I actually moved to the 3522 Dewberry address, Miss Winterton ended up coming over there and she would explain to me she was my parole officer. So
Okay.
they did a switch parole officer on me. And she said she was gonna look into it and see if I could be able to stay at this address.
Okay. Were you in Dallas without permission? How do you
No.
plead that charge?
Not guilty.
You were never in Dallas.
No, sir. My wife, which is present right now, she ended up posting a picture on her Facebook page, and my baby mama, which is the one that I just did time behind 2.5 years, end up calling to the parole and probation officer, finding out who my parole officer is, and sending her all types of pictures saying, I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, which is a problem with the situation that we having now. She trying to get me back in jail, which she done done. You know, I just did 2.5 years for this woman, and now that I came home and got married, she feels some type of way because I'm moving on with my life, and she doing whatever she got to do to keep me incarcerated.
Okay.
So she sending
All right.
pictures. Yeah.
So all they had was pictures showing you were in Dallas?
Yeah, she just got a picture of me and my wife hugged up, and my wife, she had our location at in Dallas or whatever, but we was actually in Shreveport at the Hilton Inn.
Okay, that's what we saw, pictures at the Hilton Inn, but they said it was in Dallas.
Right.
Okay, did you admit to being drunk on 5/7/24?
Yes, sir, I did. I had went out with my family, and I just had one drink. I ain't no alcoholic. I ain't no drinker, so I had one little drink, and it had me all, you know, messed up. So when Miss Anderson, I mean not Miss Anderson, when Winston came to my house, which is the 3435 address, she said did nobody answer the door, so she expected I wasn't there. But like I had told, I was there. I was asleep in the back room. You know, so and then we got dogs in the backyard. So usually my last time with me being out from being incarcerated, they usually walk around the house and knock on a room window, which I'll stay at. But we got dogs in the backyard. So I had told I was drunk that night.
Yep, you did, okay, so you told her you drank.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you also tested positive for marijuana.
Yes, sir, I did. Like I said, I had just came home April 1st. So before I was drugging in Claiborne Parish, and I just did that just to be doing because I'm finna come home, and I say I'm done with drinking and smoking and stuff. So that I had explained that to the parole officer at probation and parole on Year Drive. I say I just came home, so I might test positive. Then again, I might not test positive. I say I don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? I just smoked it before I came home.
Did you report to the DRC as instructed?
No, sir, I didn't. I had talked to a lady over the phone, and I had explained to her I had just started working or whatever, and my work hour was from 8 o'clock to 5:30 in the evening. So I had explained to her what the hours or whatever, and asked her, is it mandatory for me to do these classes? Because I ain't never known nothing about these classes. This is something new they just started with probation and parole. So I never knew nothing about the classes. So she said she was gonna get in touch with the probation officer and see if it was a mandatory thing for me to do, because I just had started working and I ain't want to lose my job, and I'm trying to get my life together.
Okay, did you take any sex offender classes in prison? Did you take the 4 phases?
No, sir, I haven't.
What was your original charge?
I had a domestic charge.
Yeah, but why you were considered a sex offender? What was the sex offender?
Common knowledge of a juvenile,
Back when? When did that happen?
2011.
2011. How long you served on that? How long you was on probation?
I had did 4 years flat on that.
4 years flat on
Yes,
criminal. Okay. How old was the victim?
She was 16.
Okay. All right, so let's see, also your special condition number 13, you were instructed to move from Dewberry, and instructed not to go back over there. Did you leave once they told you had to leave?
Yes, sir, I did. And she never told me I couldn't go back over there. She just said that I couldn't stay at the address. So when my wife was out of town with the kids, she said she needed the yard cut, and she paid this Mexican guy with $100, I want to say, to cut the yard. So I'm like, I'm home, so why should you have to pay $100 to get somebody to cut the yard? So I just went on and cut the yard for her.
Okay, and what about the 2 social media accounts? Did you have those?
Those are old account. I have no access to those account, which is the password and stuff. So I mean, if you can pull them up now. I probably got like 3, 4 accounts, 5, 6 accounts, but this all before I even had this sex offender charge. So I have no more access to that account.
What was the account? What were the account?
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yes, sir.
And you haven't been on Facebook since you've been out?
No, sir.
Okay, what about being seen at Chuck E. Cheese at your child's birthday party?
Yeah, my twins, they had just turned 5, and my wife had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. So I ain't seen my children, and I mean, I did go. I did go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And okay, so that's all the violations, and you've had your plea. Where would you stay at if you got out today?
3435 Stonewall Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71109.
Has that been approved?
Yes, sir, it have.
Has been approved.
Yes, sir. I have like I said, my wife faxed over the resident form to the fax number they gave me on a piece of paper.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions. Was any of my
Yeah, where do you plan to work when you, if you get out?
At Riverside Oaks apartment where I was working there before I got incarcerated. I also have she said I ain't never something about the apply the paper for the job I was working, but I actually got check stubs. She also faxed that over to y'all too. My wife from Riverside Oaks apartment is through a temp agency, staff marketing.
So they'll give you your job back if you were released?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have no more questions.
Okay, thank you. What street is the Hilton in Shreveport on?
On what that is, 70th Street and Yearwood Drive.
Okay, I don't know if that's a Hilton out there.
That's right there by the bank, Barksdale Bank.
But that's where that picture was taken.
Yes.
And you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'd like to move for an executive session.
I second.
Okay. I'll
Will you call the
also
roll?
go.
Steve Freeman,
Yes.
Chuck Tennis,
Yes.
Steve Furtick.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna have a brief executive session, which means we got something, a procedural matter we need to talk about. We will come back. We're not gonna vote there. We'll come back in just a minute. Won't take long. We'll come back and we'll vote. Oh, but we got to hear from your wife first. But do you want the executive?
Let's let his wife speak before we have the executive session.
Okay, let's let your wife speak first. Where is she on Zoom? Okay. Okay, the April Macon.
Yes, sir. How you
Okay.
today?
Okay, good morning. How are you? And we can hear you, and I guess you can hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us what you'd like to tell us.
Me and had been together for a while. Yes, he did go to jail. Last time he go to jail, to my knowledge, it was due to the domestic with his ex. Since the day he has got out of jail, I didn't know anything about the girl and everything, but she's been stalking, and she has been stalking me as well. It's been an ongoing thing. And then when the parole officer came to the home, she did ask to come in. I said, yes, ma'am, you're welcome to come in. She looked around and she did inform us, because he was getting ready for work and the kids was getting ready for school. She was like, well, he can't stay here because his kids here. And we asked her, what should we do in this situation? Because we are married and he's been doing good while he's at home. She said, you guys can go to court and file a motion with a judge to see what the judge let him stay in the home. So we did that. He used his paycheck and I paid half. We went to court. So when we went to court, it was kind of humiliating because the parole officer went back on everything she informed us to do. I have no knowledge of this type of stuff, basically. So I'm the type of person I just like to follow the law, do what's right, and encourage Eddie, to do what's right because he was working. Anytime like when we was together, he always found the job. He found the job in within a week. I'm a witness to that. I was with him. We went to Aid Advantage, which they are linked with staff marketing. So he found the job. That first they sent him to a furniture store, and then they sent him to the apartments at River Oaks. And as he stated, that was correct. He was working 8 to 5. I was in the vehicle with him when the counselor called, and he did tell the counselor, "Let me talk to the parole officer about meeting with you guys due to my work schedule." So that was definitely correct. I had to file a restraining order on his ex, and a parole office, the supervisor stated that she's allowed to call and say all these fraudulent things due to the fact that he does have a record. um since it's been ongoing, she's threatened me. I had to get a restraining order on her. So basically I feel like at the moment he is homeless. um I feel like 3522 Dewberry is the only place he really has to stay due to the conflict of the other two addresses, from my
Yeah.
opinion. And
Okay.
it just
Max, how old are the kids that are in your home?
I have 5-year-old twins. I have an 8-year-old and one 14-year-old. He has been in their life through the years. It's just this ongoing thing with this girl. She
Okay,
tried to threaten anyone around him and try to fight him. Like whenever she found where he's located, she will drive up because she have followed me without me having knowledge and tried to fight me as well. So
okay,
it's been an ongoing thing with the situation, to be honest. And I can admit he has been doing right, trying to live his life right and everything.
okay.
Yes, sir. Um,
Comment.
I feel like this the only dress he has to stay at. But to my
Right.
knowledge, they
Stand.
said once he get off parole, it won't matter. But
Yeah,
he
the
going to work.
judge, whoever told y'all to go to the court has no jurisdiction over whether who can live in your home because you're on parole.
All right.
It's no longer in the courts, because it's the parole board that would have to relieve him of that condition.
Yeah, it's
I-
just that she's not
I-
allowed over here now. Due to the restraining order and everything that I placed on her. But I feel like this is the only place he really has to stay because the dad said he don't want him there.
Right.
Um, yeah, yes, sir. It's just the conflict of him staying at those other addresses.
I got that. That's all we need. We appreciate your comments.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Is he
Bear,
on the
we're,
phone?
we're fixing to go into executive.
I'm trying to get that probation.
Okay, we're back. We got to vote to get out of executive session, so let's have a vote on that, please.
We do the roll call. Keith Freeman,
Yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Tibbs.
Yes,
Okay, we're back out of executive session and we're in Baton Rouge. You're talking to you at CADDO Correctional. Okay, Pete, Mr.
Okay.
Freeman, you were talking about something.
Okay, I'm gonna vote first, Mr. Bell, since I was assigned your case. Mr. Bell, you admitted to, the marijuana, which could have been in prison before you got out. You admitted to drink. Big problem is where are you gonna stay?
34, 35,
I don't know if that would be approved. We'd have to get that approved first by the probation office.
yeah, they already approved. She got the paperwork. If y'all got the facts, she got the paperwork. She faxed to y'all. Is that already been approved with probation and parole?
Okay, do you understand you cannot be at that house with those kids?
Yes, sir, I do understand.
100%, because if you come back in front of me with those kids, I'm gonna revoke you.
Yes, sir, I do.
Can't actually prove you in Dallas. It would be tough to prove anyway.
Yes, sir.
So you're getting a big break today. So what my vote is gonna be is not to revoke you, but you not get turned loose until the residence plan is approved by probation and parole, and they have you set up for your first sex offender class.
Yes, sir.
And you do understand your rules now. Go back to your probation officer, understand them clearly.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, probably be the last break you would ever get on this charge, okay?
Yes,
So
sir.
that's my vote today, not to revoke, but to hold in jail until we get an approved residence plan and we have you set up for your first sex offender treatment.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
my vote is not to revoke.
Okay, and my vote also is the same, so that you understand some of the rules may not make sense to you because you may be thinking, I didn't mess with a little child, so I can go to my house. But that ain't the way it is.
Yeah.
What your problem has been thus far is following the rules to the letter of the law. What you need to do is call your wife on the phone every time you got a decision to make and say, should I do this or not? Because she's the kind of lady that follows the rules.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and that's what you got to be like. Even though it don't make sense that you can't go to Dewberry, you can't go there because that's what the rules say. Okay, you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, well, it's the decision of the board today that you not be revoked, but the conditions that Mr. Freeman talked about are to apply to you. Get everything straight, get out, and we don't want to see you again, okay?
Yes, sir. I promise you, you won't see it better.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that completes.
That completes this from CADDO Correctional. 9:32 is the time, and thank you all up at CADDO Correctional, and hope you have a wonderful day up there.
You too.
Hello, Mr. Roundtree. How are you today? Okay, yes, sir. There we go. Okay, we
You need to get it off.
Got us?
got you now. You got
Perfect.
us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All right, we appreciate that. We're at the DOC headquarters. My name is Steve Prater. I'm the acting chairman for today. To my left is Pete Freeman. To my right is Chucky Tillis. We're here to talk to William T. Roundtree. Are you Mr. Roundtree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and who is in the room with you as far as the staff goes? Would you introduce yourselves at East Baton Rouge?
Yes, sir. Lieutenant Mayberry.
Okay, Lieutenant, thank you for setting this up and getting it all ready for us. Mr. Roundtree, have you signed a questionnaire that talks about this hearing today?
Yes,
Okay, and you have that and you signed and understand that.
yes,
Okay, the way it's gonna go today is that I'm going to read these particular, some rules to you, and I'm gonna ask you as I go over each rule, whether you plead innocent or guilty of having violated that particular rule. Do you understand that?
yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and let's get started then with, rule number 3, you absconded from supervision. On 9/28 of 23, a parole warrant was issued due to you moving without obtaining permission from your parole officer. Your whereabouts were unknown until you were arrested by the Calcasieu Sheriff's Office on 12/5 of 2023. On or about 11/28 of 2019 and 8/10 of 2020, you were in the state of Texas without permission from your parole officer. Is that true?
Half of it is and half of it's not.
So.
Oh.
How does he put
How do you plead?
How do you plead on that?
Not guilty. On half of it and half of it, yes,
I can understand that,
yes.
the way it's written in. Were you ever in Texas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, without telling your probation officer?
Yes.
Okay, so that part to Texas is guilty.
The Louisiana, Lake Charles, you said I was counting from Lake Charles.
Right.
September of 23, no, I didn't. I was living in Lake Charles.
Okay. So that part you're saying not guilty.
Yes,
Okay, well, that'll work out. Well, it fit my lines just right. Rule 4, you failed to refrain from criminal conduct in that you were arrested by the Calcasieu Sheriff's Office on December the 5th of 2023, and you were charged with aggravated criminal damage to property and possession of alcoholic beverages in your motor vehicle. These charges were later dismissed. Is that a true statement?
yes.
Okay. How do you plead to that?
Not guilty. All charges was dropped.
Okay, let me ask you something. Is someone in there talking to you?
No. That's outside the door?
Well, I keep hearing somebody talking, and I was just curious if you had an attorney present or someone else.
No, sir, he doesn't. They've got a lot of movement going out in the hallway, so there's a lot of background noise. I'm gonna go shut the door.
That's okay. I just was curious if there was somebody telling. Okay, let's go with another one. You're not guilty of you said of the other. Number 4, Rule 4 violation again. However, a warrant from Baton Rouge Police for home invasion and domestic abuse battery was executed, and you were transferred to the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. These offenses occurred on July of 23. On March of 24, you were billed with domestic abuse battery under DC 2401029. On May 23rd of 2024, that charge was dismissed. In addition to the incident that led to this charge, the Baton Rouge Police Department has 7 other call-outs during your term of supervision regarding incidents between you and the same victim. Are those accurate statements?
They're accurate.
Are you guilty of having done that?
I'm not guilty, but they're accurate. When you ask me, I'm guilty of what?
Oh, okay.
All charges was later dropped.
Guilty of not
There was call outs, huh?
Okay, not guilty. We'll say,
Not guilty of mistake.
okay, here we go again. On February the 21st of 20, you were arrested by the Baton Rouge City Police and charged with felony operating a vehicle while intoxicated, operating a vehicle while under suspension for certain prior offenses, reckless operation, simple obstruction of a highway, and possession of alcohol, beverages, and motor vehicles. You were billed under EBR DC 20-03059, and on July the 23rd of 2020, you pled to the offense of DWI first offense, and the court sentenced you to 6 months in the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison along with fines and court costs. At that time, you were issued a verbal reprimand by your parole officer who documented no knowledge of a July 2019 DWI. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay, while conducting, this is rule violation number 4 again. While conducting a criminal record check after your latest booking, it was learned you were arrested on July the 18th of 2019 by Lake Charles PD in charge with misdemeanor operating a vehicle while intoxicated. In that case, you pled guilty as charged and were placed on 5 years probation. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay, continuing another rule violation 4. In addition, on November the 28th of 2019, you were arrested by the Baytown PD in Texas and charged with DWI and collision involving damage to a vehicle over $200. On 6/29 of 2021, you were convicted of DWI in Harris County Criminal Court. Guilty, not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay, another rule 4. On August 19th, 2020, you were arrested by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office in Beaumont, Texas, charged with assault, causing bodily injury, 2 counts, and unauthorized use of a vehicle. On November the 29th, 2021, the unauthorized use charge was dismissed. On February 6, 2023, you were found not guilty for the 2 counts of assault. Guilty, not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay, number 10, you are in arrears, so you owe $1,666 towards supervision fees.
Yes. Guilty.
Guilty. Okay, number 13, special conditions. Enroll and complete anger management. On January 6th of 2022, after being allowed to make bond on a drug possession charge and having another domestic abuse battery charge dismissed, the parole board ordered you enroll in and complete an anger management program. On January 3rd, 2022, your parole officer advised you of the anger management condition that was to come, and you agreed to sign up for domestic abuse classes the following week. Since this time, you have failed to complete or provide verification of having completed any type of anger management program or domestic abuse program. Are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate that. That was tiring for both of us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna get to a little bit of questioning and so forth. This, who's
Mr. Tillis.
Mr. Tillis, this is your case as the primary investigator on it, so would you take over?
How you doing, Mr. Roundtree?
All right, and how are you?
All right, where do you live?
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. Okay, so what are you doing in Texas? What's going on there?
I was back and forth and trying to get a job out there. And at the time I had a girlfriend that was living in Texas, and I had went for the Thanksgiving holidays.
Did you check with your parole officer?
No, not at that time, because it was at the spur of the moment.
Okay. That's probably one of the reasons why you're here now, is that you need to check with your parole officer and let them know. I noticed that you pleaded guilty on a lot of the charges and not guilty on some. What's happening with the classes that you were recommended to take?
At the time, the job I had, by me traveling to and from the job, the classes wasn't lining up with my schedule at that moment. So I was trying to find another job in the process of that, trying to take the class.
Are you communicating with your parole office on these things, on these matters? A lot of times, if you do that, they will assist in it.
I was trying to at that moment, and I was trying to go to school at the same time. So I had too much on my plate. I was trying to do instead of just taking one problem at a certain time and doing it.
What's your plan now if you're granted?
To move and to get another job back in the plant. Because I went to school for heavy equipment.
Heavy equipment, and you're talking about moving where?
Either to the Lake Charles area or trying to get a transfer to Texas because there's a lot of construction jobs back in the plants that's opening up.
I see. Okay, I have no more questions.
Mr. Roundtree, I'm sorry. Okay. What about all of the drinking problems? What's the deal with that? All these people died.
Okay, just last year when I had moved to the Lake Charles area, I had checked into a sober living house. So I was under a sober living program. That's why I said I was not guilty on absconding in Lake Charles, because I was in a sober living house trying to get control of my drinking and going to AA meetings.
Did you get arrested for anything after you went to that sober living place?
Yes.
So you still got a problem, is what you're telling me.
No, I don't have a problem. They thought I did. I had a couple had just come from the store.
Gotcha.
I had to go take a class that day for my job. I was working at Turner Industries in Lake Charles, and they thought I had alcohol in my car, which it wasn't.
Okay. I don't know.
Let me, from September of 2023 through December of 2023, where were you?
Lake Charles. At the sober living house. You can check.
Why didn't you tell your parole officer?
My parole officer knew it's in my file. I was at the assessor's house. The supervisor didn't put it in my paperwork. Why, I don't know. You can get in touch with the people that's over the sober living house. That's where I was. Because I had to pay a fee every week. So I don't see, that's why I said I wasn't absconding. I was in Lake Charles the whole time. I was working for Turner Industries at the time of my arrest.
Well, you weren't there the whole time because some of the time you admitted you were in Texas.
No, you asked me from September of last year to the time I got arrested.
Now I said from September until I read it right off here, from September to December of 2023.
Yes, I was in Lake Charles.
Okay, you didn't go to Texas at that time.
No, I was in Lake Charles.
But your parole officer just didn't put it down in your file.
Yes, because I was working for Turner Industries.
And you don't have a drinking problem, but you've been arrested several times for DWI.
Yes, I do have a drinking problem.
Right?
No, I do have a drinking problem. I was trying to get help. That's why I went to the sober living house.
But you evidently still got that problem because you've gotten arrested since then for drinking problems, right?
When? In September? That's what I'm saying.
Let me look at this just a minute here and see.
At the time of my arrest of December of 2023, they said I had alcoholic beverages in my car, which wasn't true. That's what I'm saying. I was trying to get help at that moment for my drinking. And
but I'm not trying to beat you down on this, but you'd already been in the house sober living from September to December. And then you got arrested in December
Yes.
for having alcohol in your car.
Yeah, that's what they was trying to say I had alcohol, which wasn't true. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't drinking. I would tell you if I was drinking, but I wasn't. I was trying to get clean.
What were they saying the alcohol was?
A beverage. It was in a cup. They thought because I had a cup from Quick Mart, and they thought it was alcoholic beverage.
And they charged you with it.
Yes, but the charges later got dismissed.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, I'd like to ask another question. What's going on? Why are you in the rear with your payments? You say you were working.
Oh yes, because I was trying to get my car fixed. I had at the time I had a car that was down, and I was trying to get that fixed, and bills was piling up.
Why do you feel now that you need to be released? I mean, what are you gonna do differently to if you're granted to be released?
Well, I will check into a program of such dealing with AA and get me a sponsor and obtain another job in the construction field. And
What about the anger management classes?
and take the anger management class. I will do that first.
Have you maybe located, I guess, where you are now, you can't find it, to locate those facilities to get those classes?
Yes, I have found them through the law library at this facility. The way I can sign up online and take the class. I don't have to be in person. I can do it through a Zoom meeting on my phone.
I got you. Okay,
Okay, now,
I'm through.
2.5 years ago, you were told to take anger management or domestic violence after a domestic violence arrest, correct?
Yes,
Man, you hadn't done that.
correct,
That was a condition of your parole.
correct.
So for 2.5 years now, you have violated the condition of your parole.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you.
Okay, let's your vote, sir.
Mr. Roundtree, at this time, you got a lot going against you, and my vote is going to be to revoke.
Due to your numerous violations, including tons of criminal charges, my vote is also to revoke.
Yes, sir, Mr. Roundtree, I concur with my fellow board members to revoke. Sorry to give you that bad news, but that'll conclude this hearing. Thank you. The time is 9:53 in the morning.
You can go on up back to your line, hon.
Okay. All right, good morning. We're at the Department of Corrections in Baton Rouge. The time is 10 o'clock. We are here. We're going to hear your revocation in just a minute. I assume you are Lorenzo Ceasar, correct? Evidently not. Okay, now, there we go. Okay. Yes, sir. We are in Baton Rouge at the Department of Corrections, and we're the three folks on the parole board that are going to hear your revocation hearing. You are Lorenzo Ceasar, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and the time is 10 o'clock, and so it's July the 10th of 2024, and my name is Steve Prater. I'll be the acting chairman today, and to my left is Pete Freeman. To my right is Chucky Tillis. And your DOC number is 470775. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. We're here to talk about your parole revocation. And you're at Riverbend Detention Center. And I've got three things I'm going to read to you, rule violations. After each one of them, I'm going to ask, are you guilty or not guilty? Okay. Okay, before we do that, let me ask you, you've seen the questionnaire and signed the questionnaire, is that correct? It's got your name on it that talks about this revocation hearing?
Yes, sir.
We open it on a
And-
signature.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that is your signature, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that's what I'm gonna make sure. Thank you for that. Okay, going back to what I said just a moment ago, here's the first rule violation that you're charged with. It's a rule 3. You have moved multiple times without notifying a supervising fish officer. Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Okay. Okay, rule number 2, but it's infraction violation 4, says on March the 5th of 2024, you engaged in new criminal conduct resulting in your arrest by the Lake Charles Police Department. You were charged with domestic abuse battery upon a pregnant victim. The charges were refused by the 14th JDC DA's office on 3/25/24 due to the victim signing an affidavit. Are you guilty of having violated that rule or not?
Not guilty, sir.
Okay, the final one, you have failed to provide verification of making payments towards supervision fees, and you are in arrears of $504. Guilty or not guilty?
I'm guilty on that because my truck broke, but I was working.
Okay, we'll get into that in just a moment. Okay, all right. The way we handle these hearings is that each one of the three of us draws certain cases. And your case is mine, so I'll take the lead in questioning you. And then we'll turn it over to them for questions, and then we will have a vote. But before we do that, is there anything you'd like to say that?
Oh, yeah, that, about this case?
Well, we'll just wait, I guess, and go over my rule violations and let you say it at that particular.
Okay.
Okay, all right, you've moved multiple times without notifying a supervisor or supervising agent. You said that's not true.
That's not true. He called me, and I finally got a call back and told him the way that did. When I called and checked on him to let him know where I was at, he came by my house and I wasn't there. So when I told him that I was moving back to Lake Charles, and he said, well, I said, but you want me to come in and see you the week? And he told me, no, just go when I get to Lake Charles, verify to Lake Charles parole officer to let him know that I was moving. Now, I told him about it was going to be a week. When I finally get to Lake Charles, the night I moved, I go to jail the same night. So I didn't get a chance to tell him that I had moved. But I did contact my PO, and that was in Lafayette.
Yes, sir. I read all of that, and and it was hard keeping up with.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And part of being on parole is making yourself easy to keep up with.
Right.
I wrote down, the word I wrote down, just so you'll know, I wrote down slippery.
Slippery.
When I read that thing, I said, that fella's slippery. You can't be slippery when you're on parole.
I know, sir. I know.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's talk about the next one, this domestic abuse of a pregnant victim. You were arrested a few months ago, and then the charges end up being dropped. It seems as though y'all got into a little old spat there. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I was sitting down eating, and as I was eating, she got a text from my ex, and she was saying some stuff about what I had told her, like I broke up my ex from Lafayette. So after that, she got mad. She telling me to get out the house. She blowing out the portion as I was just laying down in bed. So she kept telling me, get the F out, get the F out. So I finally got up. I said, you serious? She said, yes, I'm serious. So as I'm packing my stuff, she poured water in my face. Well, so when she poured water in my face, I didn't do that. I goes outside, my luggage outside, and grab my basket. And that's when the cops pull up. I grab my bag before the cops pull up. And as I'm coming back out the house, as I'm trying to get out the house, she's in front of the door. Tell me, no, don't go, don't leave. I'm like, get out of my way, let me go, because I'm tired of all this mess, this confusion. My mom just died, and I had enough. So she gets bad. She's still in the front of the door. So I just kind of pushed her like out my way. That's all I did. And she called the cops.
Did you throw water on her?
No, she threw water on me, sir. No,
You never do that.
I never do that.
Hey, did you choke her? Or did you put your hands on her neck? Or?
No, I pushed her right here, sir. Out my way.
How'd she get marks on her neck? We got some pretty good pictures.
Oh, well, I know she got marks already, like black marks and stuff on her neck, but I never put no marks on her neck. I never. She get like polka dot marks or whatever. I never put no marks on her. I never choked her. I got a daughter and a granddaughter. I would never. And then I just lost my mom. I would never put my hand on a woman.
Okay. And then rule number 10 says you owe $504.
Yes, sir. And my truck, I was working in Lafayette at Golden Corral. My truck broke down on me. Once it broke down on me, I didn't have the funds. I had only got but like 3 checks I worked for. And when my truck broke down, that's when everything just went downhill for me. I had no ride to work. I lost my job. And that's why I couldn't pay y'all a penny of nothing. I was gonna start paying, but I know if you give me another opportunity to get back out there and I get this offshore job, y'all want, because I've been on parole before, and I paid. They put me on unsupervised parole. That's how good I did, and I know I can do the same thing, and I won't get in no more trouble. But I will pay. That's one thing. I did a standing good job on my last time on parole.
You were saying, tell me a little bit more about the altercation when you were trying to leave. She called the police before you left, or she called them after you brushed her aside?
But she called them right when I brushed her aside. Like when I pushed off out my way, she called them right then and there. And I'm trying to talk to her about the situation. Like, what did I do? What did I do? Then I ain't got no transportation from Lake Charles to Lafayette. I'm like, I'm gonna be outside. Like, then when she called me, so that's when the laws pull up and stuff.
You had to pack your things and set them outside to leave?
Yes, sir. I got one thing out there. When I went to get my other basket of luggage, a basket of clothes, that's when she called the laws.
So if you're released, where do you plan to live and what do you plan to do?
Well, we be talking and stuff on the phone, and we beyond that. But I'm moving back to Lake Charles.
You're not gonna move?
Sir?
Her?
If I'm gonna move back with her?
Yes,
No, sir.
you're not gonna live with her.
No, but we're gonna try to work out things.
When you say work out, you don't mean getting back with her. You're gonna move, you're gonna have another place to live.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, I have no more questions.
Mr. Dose?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't have any questions.
Okay, what's holding me up here is the fact that you were slippery and the marks on her neck. It boils down to that for me.
Okay. But I didn't put the marks on it. I don't think she had no marks.
So,
I don't, that's great.
Okay, I gotta vote first and I'm having trouble trying to decide what to do with you
Just,
because
I'm a very good person, sir. And I know we make mistakes in this world, but that's something I did not do. And I understand y'all gotta make a vote, but I just wish y'all could make the right vote for me, man, because I don't belong here. Look, and I didn't do nothing wrong to come here. And I was going to get a good job for ESS. I had an interview with them, and I was going to start paying y'all. Like I said, I paid so good last time. They put me on unsupervised parole. I didn't even know they could do that. Yeah.
is there any conditions that we can put on?
you put whatever conditions you want.
Have you ever had a domestic violence?
No,
Well,
sir. Not in my life. No, sir. I'm not a domestic person. I'm not. I'm a human. I get along with everybody. I love kids. I get along with my neighbors. I help the community out when I can. Yeah.
Just why is she not here today?
Because I told her you have to do it on Zoom. That's what was going to do it on Zoom.
Uh-huh. Don't you think it would be important for her to be here?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know she was supposed to come. I thought I swear I didn't know. I wish I could have called her and tell her that. I would have let her know.
Yeah.
She said it's happened before. She said that this had happened before, roughing her up and all that, so.
No. We didn't have
All right, I want you to, my vote is to allow you not to be revoked, but that you've got to have a domestic violence class. And go through there and you just, at least, you gotta think about what you're doing or what you're doing.
My actions. Yes, sir. I understand that. I understand that.
So, my vote is to revoke. The pictures are just there, and I don't see why she would call law if something didn't happen and you were still there when the law got there. So my vote today is to revoke.
My vote is to do not revoke with conditions as Mr. Prater.
And we'll work with you.
2 out of 3, does that grant him? It does. Okay, so you've been granted.
You've been
I mean,
granted,
not granted, you've been not revoked.
yeah, you've been not revoked, but you're going to get a class. Now, I don't know
The
how.
probation officer set that up.
Okay,
Get with them and they go send you to the class. Say 8-week class.
8-week class?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, now I'm not playing with you, okay? And
I know y'all not. Trust me.
first time that they tell me that you've gotten slippery again,
Yes, sir.
I'll have you right in there, and I promise my vote will be different.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
That concludes this hearing.
Thank y'all. They let me go. They let me go.
Okay. Okay, we'll try this again.
Oh, he was sitting there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Is your name Javon Williams?
Good morning. Yes, sir.
Okay, and your DLC number is 754-922?
Correct.
Okay, and you have a waiver or something that you signed in reference to this revocation hearing? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
You certain that you do? Don't want any questions about it. You know what you signed? Okay, is that your signature?
Correct.
Okay, good. We just wanted to get that straight. Well, my name is Steve Prater, and I'm the chairman or acting chairman for today, at least. And I'll be conducting the interview in just a few minutes. But I want to introduce the other two people. One is Chucky Tillis. He is on my right, and Pete Freeman is on my left. And so we'll be making the decision about whether you are revoked or not after we hear what you have to say. I've got a list of violations here, and after I read each one, I'm going to ask you, are you guilty or not guilty of that? Okay, and then we'll go into some more detail in just a little bit. All right. The first rule violation is the number 2. It says you were ordered by your parole officer to report to the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office to take care of a warrant that was issued due to you being involved in a domestic abuse case. You failed to turn yourself in and was later arrested by the Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office for the outstanding warrant. Did you do that?
No,
Guilty or not guilty?
not guilty.
Okay. This is another rule, but it's a number 4 rule. You were arrested on 7/7/23 by the Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office on an outstanding warrant from East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office domestic abuse battery child endangerment warrant. You were billed with domestic abuse with child endangerment under the East Baton Rouge docket DC 23-03-777. In an attempt to have the charges dropped, your girlfriend later filed an affidavit stating that the minor lied about you choking him because he was jealous. Then on April the 15th of 24, before Judge Gail Ray in the 19th Judicial District, you pled guilty to the lesser offense of disturbing the peace by fighting a fistic encounter against Samantha Dixon, LARS 14-103A1, and sentenced to 90 days in parish prison, credit for time served. Guilty, not guilty?
Not guilty.
Rule 10, you have made 0 payments toward your supervision fee as of 4/17/24. You owe $1,071 as well as a $65 processing fee. Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay. All right. Well, I'm the one that's supposed to ask you questions, and so according to this, we're wasting our time here because you didn't do any of this. Is that correct?
Under certain circumstances.
Okay. Well, let's start with the domestic violence thing, and then we'll work into you not reporting after you told there's a warrant for you. The domestic violence, you're supposed to have accused of grabbing somebody under the age of 13 during this domestic abuse charge and pulling that person into another room and then putting your arm or your hands, but I think your arms around their neck. And that's what you were charged with in that particular case. And we also had witnesses. So tell me about that.
All right. As far as the story on hand, like on paperwork, is fabricated. That was never the situation. I was coming home from work and I didn't have a ride, so I told my girlfriend, which is Samantha Dixon, to come pick me up, and she notified me and told me that the car dealership had came possess her car. She not gonna be able to come pick me up. And I was working at the Mall of Louisiana at the time, and it was like 10 o'clock. The Mall of Louisiana closed at 10. So like all the employees and all the the shoppers, they
they gotta be going off the premises. So as time rolling, I'm looking for a ride. So I finally get me a ride with somebody that worked with me. And the lady dropped me off home. And the process of me coming out the car, Samantha Dixon, she was coming out the apartment, she seen a female dropping me off home. So now her antennas went up. She thinking, you know, I'm messing around with another female or not. So as I go upstairs in the house, it's only me, Samantha Dixon, and her son Cashmere Dixon. You know, the lights are off. Before I went to work, I gave Samantha Dixon $200 to pay the light bill. So I'm asking her, you know, why the lights off? You know, Cashmere in his room sleep. You know, she wasn't worrying about my question. She kept asking me about who's the lady that dropped me off and this and that and it. So I see that you on some other type of time. So I ignored you going to shower. As I'm in the shower, Samantha Dixon broke in the shower. Well, she came in the bathroom because I closed and locked it. Because the type of time she's on, you know what I'm saying? I'm fresh home from jail. I'm not really trying to argue with nobody or get into that. So Samantha Dixon come in the bathroom, grab my phone, and run off with my cell phone. I don't chase, I let her go. You know what I'm saying? I continue to wash myself. I come out the shower with just me and Cashmere in the apartment, Samantha gone. I step outside to see she stepped outside. She's nowhere to be found. So I go back into the apartment, lay down in the bed, and Samantha's best friend come in. And in the mix of Samantha's best friend coming in, she goes straight to Cashmere room. And she tell Cashmere, she like, come on, pack some of your things. You and your mother come and stay at my house tonight. So I told her best friend, I'm like, Cashmere can't go nowhere until Samantha come up and get her child. I can't just let you come get him. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, just me, Samantha, and Cashmere, we stay here. I don't even know you for you to come get the little boy. So I picked him up and put him on my hip. You know what I'm saying? Then I go to my bedroom and set him on the bed. So Samantha comes, she throw my phone in the hallway, and I left. I get a call from Samantha Dixon telling me to come turn myself in. I'm like, what you talking about? She like, the police want to talk to you. I'm like, for what? You told me to leave, so I left. But you want me to turn around now to come back? You know what I'm saying? So later on in life, I contacted my parole officer and let him know. I'm like, hey man, do I have a warrant for my arrest? He looked it up in the system. He said, no, you don't have no warrant for probation and parole. I said, well, look, Mr. Nick, I think I have a warrant for East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office. He looked it up. He said, if you do, he say, handle, I don't want to fabricate his words, but I still have via text messages of him telling me like, long as it's not with probation and parole, he is not worrying about the warrant. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking, how can we get this warrant eradicated, you know, so I could avoid this. It's like, well, just you and Samantha, y'all just, go to the DA's office and, you know, things like that. And they just told me like, I got to get incarcerated in order for her to drop the charges. And that's how that stuff is doing. That's why she's been here for me since day one. You know, her son finally came out and told her, you know, the truth. Because they arrested me for strangulation or whatever it is, but charged me for a fistic encounter with Samantha Dixon. Like, that's two different charges like this. I tell you, the whole situation was fabricated.
How old is the child?
I believe Anthony, he's around 10, 11.
Okay. And you took the child, you wouldn't let the child go. Did you pull the child by the arm?
No, I picked him up and set him on my hip. He's 10 years old. Like, he's small. I just put him on my hip and brought him to my bedroom.
A 10-year-old? Sometimes they ain't that small, but
He's 13 too. He's not 10.
Yeah. I'm 6'3". My grandfather, Ernie Ladd, big cat. So I'm a big person. I ain't small. So, you know.
okay. And we had a witness that saw that says that you pulled the child into the room and wouldn't let him go or anything like that. A witness said that, and the child said that. And I mean, how do we get around that? You're saying it didn't happen, but they're saying it did.
It was fabricated. That's what I'm saying. Like, she was working with Samantha. Samantha got her son to work with the police, and then when it all unfolds, she realized what she was doing is wrong. She's been admitted to the mental house and all type of things. So when she realized what she was doing, it was wrong because she came.
But but you end up pleading guilty to something though out of this.
What
Disturbing fighting. Correct? You pled guilty to something behind this situation, correct?
Correct. Disturbing the peace, by fighting.
Okay, so something did happen that you pled guilty to. And tell me about this warrant thing again, because that's not what your parole officer says. They said they told you to turn yourself in and you didn't for 6 months until you were caught.
All right, now, see, when I came home on parole, I've been through 4 different parole officers. I never met not one of them in person. I called Mr. Carmouche and I called the other 2 and they finally gave me, Nicholas, I believe that's his name. If you spoke to him, Nicholas will tell you I'm always the one calling him. He's never called me. I'm video calling him. It's me contacting him. He's never contacted me. So, and I called him and brought this to his desk. And like, you know, he got an email say, hey, look, your employee, he's have a warrant for his arrest and stuff. And I still have me and his via text messages of what I'm saying right now. Of him telling me he's not worried about it because it's not a warrant for probation and parole. To this day, I still have those via text messages.
So for this 6-month period that you're on the lam, that you are wanted during that 6-month period, were you checking in with your parole officer on a monthly basis like you're supposed to do?
Not monthly, I wouldn't say monthly, but I was also enrolled in a class for probation and parole. So once a week, I go to probation and parole, the office, and I take a drug screen, and just once a week. So I don't report to my parole officer, but I do report to the office once a week, and I take a drug screen once a week. And all that should be on record. I was in a class, I was taking a drug screen once a week, had my own job, my own apartment. I'm paying $1,200 for rent, you know, etc. And that's straight out of incarceration.
That doesn't make sense to me that the parole officer says they order you to turn yourself in. I think that was in January.
Correct.
If I'm mistaken.
I think what you said yourself was, he said that you would have to be in jail to get this straight. Didn't he tell you that?
No, that's what the people that work at the DA office told me.
Right. I mean, they got to execute the warrant before they're gonna recall it.
Correct. Because me and Samantha Dixon, we was going around everywhere, you know, to try to get the charges dropped. So that's when they just told us, like, you can't just drop the charge, Ms. Dixon. You got to get incarcerated, then and you go from there. Because the state was gonna pick it up, you know.
Okay, let's see. How about owing $504? You owe any money?
You said 500.
Yes, sir.
All right, now that sounds more correct. I pleaded not guilty because I never owed probation over $1,000.
Okay, I was reading from the wrong thing. That is my fault.
Right. I
So you owe $1,071.
No, I only owe $5. Prior for me coming to jail, it was at $504, which you had just said. Now when the parole office came and I signed a waiver a paper and it said it said $1,000, $75, and I'm like, they must have kept charging me since I've been in jail. I can't pay no fees while I'm in jail.
Okay, that may be the case. I don't know. That's all the questions that I have from you.
I have a question. Back to this, why would you plead guilty to a fabricated charge?
All right, now that's a good question. Now, I've been sitting in jail for a year, as you can see. I have an apartment, I have a car of my own, and I got tired of the setbacks, and I ain't never been on parole, I never had no domestic. I don't know anything about the system, in other words. So people are just telling me, you know, inmate.com, like, just get your charge and drop to a lesser charge and you know, cop out. And that's what I did. You know, I went for it, and not knowing that I should have went all the way to trial, you know what I'm saying, and got my charge completely dropped, you know. So I just copped it out to lesser charge so I could hurry up get back, because since I've been gone, two of my kids, two of my daughters, they had to move to their mother in Minnesota because of my absence, you know. So I'm trying to hurry up, get back to the world.
That's all I have.
How long have you been incarcerated?
You, July 7th, make it, a year.
And the girl that you were living with, she's trying to drop the charges against you?
Yes, sir. We was trying to drop the charge before I actually came to jail.
So where is she now? Do you stay in contact with her?
Off and on, only due to court basis, but she did move on with her life since I've been incarcerated, and we do have, you know, connection or whatnot, but it's nothing major. It's, you know, I learned from my mistakes, she learned from hers.
So if you're granted, to be released, what do you plan to do? You're gonna go back and get a job?
Okay, yes, sir. I have a, God say the same, I have a railroad job, my brother's holding on for me.
And, who do you plan to live with?
When I come home, I have some money put up. I was gonna get my own apartment, but push come to shove, I was gonna stay with my cousin who I was staying with when I first came from being incarcerated.
Okay. No more question. Okay, this was my case, so I'm the first one to vote. And Mr. Williams, I can't get over the fact that you had witnesses and you have a young child and they're saying one thing, and even though you're not admitting to that, you did plead guilty to something lesser than that. And so I just don't, and I just don't completely buy all the story that you're giving. And my vote is that you be revoked.
I think you have a bad shot. And my vote's gonna be to, do not revoke. You seem like you've been working, and, I believe your story, so I hope you have good luck. But my vote is to do not revoke.
Mr. Williams, you know, even if I believed your story, you did plead guilty. You have done already a year. So you know, you've been around, you're gonna be walking out of there. I'm pretty sure that's why you said let's go on and have the hearing. So you can get that year credit, and then they'll calculate your time. But as far as the revocation goes, my vote is to revoke due to the criminal violations that you pled to.
All right, the 2-1. And so the vote of the board, the majority is to revoke you. So I'm sorry to give you that news, but it's, you know, the system well as we do. And that'll be the end of this hearing. Thank you.
If I may, can I ask you a question?
One question, and I don't know if we can answer.
All right, now this is my question. Like I said, I got charged for one thing and got arrested. I mean, I got arrested for one thing, got charged for another. And as you see the paperwork that's in front of you, like if you could call her right now, she'd tell you the whole situation. Like I didn't fabricate anything.
That should have been, your lawyer should have brought that up.
I don't have a lawyer, I have a public defender.
I mean, regardless.
You pled to it, and that's all we have.
That's
the
all
facts
we
in
got.
front of us. That'll conclude this hearing. It's 10:38.
That's fucked up. Man, that's fucked
Good morning. Okay, are you Mr. Durant? Okay, I think you're muted. We need to kind of unmute yourself if you can.
Yes, sir. I'm Mr. Durand. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. We are in Baton Rouge at the Department of Corrections headquarters. And I think you are at the East Baton Rouge Work Release Facility. Is that part correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the time is 10:47 in the morning. The date is the 10th of July. I'm the acting chairman today for the chairman, Cheryl Renata, who is normally here, but I'm acting chairman today. My name is Steve Prater. To my right is Chucky Tillis. He's on the board also. To my left is Pete Freeman. And the three of us will be making the decision about what exactly to do with your parole requests. I'm going to read some things to make sure this is in fact you. Okay, listen to what I'm going to say and tell me if this is you. Blake Christopher Durand, DOC 714262. You were born December the 2nd of 97. You're a third felony offender. Is that all correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're asking to be paroled today. And so we need to do a couple of things. We need to find out, get a statement from you. And then is there anybody that's going to be speaking in favor of you or against you getting paroled?
No, sir.
Okay, not that you're aware of. Okay, good. That's good to know. And then we're going to turn it over because after your statement, one of us, and I think this is Mr. Tillis's case, he's going to ask you a few questions. Then the others of us have a chance, and then we'll vote. And you'll know today if you're paroled or not. Okay, so here we'll go ahead and get started. Why should we consider giving you a parole?
Because I feel as though when I came to jail, I was still young. I've grown up a lot since I've been in jail, and I've matured a lot. And I've completed a bunch of different rehabilitation programs to rehabilitate myself, to change the way I think. And then now I see things in a different light, and I'm ready to do better.
Okay. It's yours, Mr.
Good
Tillis.
morning. How are you, Mr. Durant?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you, sir?
Good. How long have you been incarcerated?
4 years.
How many?
4 years.
Education. How did you go in with your education?
I went to 11th grade, but I got my GED.
You sound like a very intelligent young man.
Yes, sir.
If released, what do you plan to do?
I'm going to get my CDL's license. I'm going to keep my job. I'm working right now. I'm working in a restaurant. I'm going to keep my job. I got to do 2 months of school until I get my actual license to be able to drive the trucks. Right now, I work at a oyster bar. I'm a cook. I've been working there. Well, I've been working for 7 months, but I've been working there for 4 months.
I see. I don't like, what about drugs? Are you you plan to get involved in drugs anymore? Selling them?
No, sir. No, sir.
I saw the classes you took and I was
Yes,
impressed. You're a young man, 25.
I'm 26.
I'm sorry, you're a big boy. But that's the problem I have. But I'm really impressed with what you've been doing. And I'd like to see you move on and do better. I have no more questions. Did we lose him?
What is it? The screen.
Okay, we had a little hit a speed bump there, but we're still with you. You still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nothing was said while we were off screen, so
I'm finished with my
are
question.
you through, Mr. Freeman? Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have some questions. Why were you moved for disciplinary reasons back in 2022? Police.
2022 in East Feliciana. They had somebody call up there and say I had a cell phone one time. I went to disciplinary, but it wasn't true, and I went right back to my job. But then I ended up getting in trouble after that. Me and the guard kind of crossed words, and that's kind of how I got in trouble. And he maced me. That's how I got in trouble. That's when I was still young. I didn't really know what was going on. I really was trying to find myself and trying to find my way. I never really had been incarcerated for that amount of time or in that type of situation. So I really wasn't educated to how to handle situations and control myself.
How much money have you saved since you've been there? You got any money in your account?
Yes, sir. I have some money in my account. I don't spend my checks. I don't go to commissary. I'm working on I think they should be. My check thing is kind of weird over here right now. We're trying to get all the money together because at one of my jobs, I wasn't really getting my money. So right now, I don't really know exactly what's on my account, but it should be a couple $1,000s. I've been working 6 days a week for 7 months straight.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. They're saying you're a moderate risk. That's because of all of your arrests and all. Have you ever had any inpatient drug treatment?
Like a rehab?
Yeah, like a rehab.
No, sir.
I've been to rehab. Okay. Well, how you gonna stay off drugs when you get out? Did you use when you on the street?
No, sir. I come to jail for selling drugs. I wasn't a drug user, but I've separated myself from that life. And that's why I took all the classes I did. And that's why I volunteered to enroll myself in the Stephen Hoyle program a year ago. And I did that. And then that really opened my eyes too, to a lot of stuff with just me as a person.
You did complete Steve Hoyle?
Yes, sir.
Very
I
pro.
completed that in 2023 at the Bossier Medium. I just graduated. That's how I come to this work release. And I've been here. Yeah, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. I was in denial about a lot of things, and I was blaming a lot of my past on a lot of my problems on my past, and I just.
Okay, I got no further questions. I got all the information I need. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, part of what we got to do on this board, we got to decide, we're kind of the voice of the public. We got to decide if you can be trusted outside the walls of that place where you stand. And
Yes,
what's best for society. What's gotten me troubled a little bit is that you hadn't had real good success with probations and parole kind of probations. The reason I say that is you pled guilty, possession with intent of marijuana and possession of methamphetamine. You got 5 years probation, and 2 weeks later, you passing the movie money.
Oh no, sir. That was actually it just looks like that. I really got both of those charges at the same time, but I wasn't a convicted felon until I pled out to the marijuana charges. So when my fingerprints came back, that's how it looks like that. But I completed that probation. I was released early for excellent behavior on those. Those were ran concurrent. But I did the crime around the same time. But when my fingerprints came back for parole for the probation for the marijuana, that's when the other charge came up. But they just put it all together. But I completed that probation in 2018 for good behavior with early release.
Okay, is that correct? Okay, the staff is telling me that is correct.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, well, that was a problem that I had. You say the right things.
Yep.
You say the right things and going through all that. Anyway, I think it's time, if there's no other question, time to vote.
You have anything last you'd like to tell us before we vote?
No, sir. I would just like to thank y'all for taking y'all's time out today to talk to me, and God bless y'all. And I hope y'all vote yes.
Mr. Durand, I am impressed with what you've been doing. And I really, really hope that you keep moving forward. And my vote today is to grant you parole.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
You're going to skip me, man.
Get you, well,
Mr. Durand, I agree with what Mr. Tiller said. You were smart. I can promise you're smart. But let's use those brains in the right way.
Yes, sir. I promise. Well, I
Taking
have
the best
3 days in
programs
school.
we got, let me finish. You've taken the best programs we got, you've completed them all. You wouldn't have 4 months left for your good time date anyway. So I'm gonna go on and grant today, but I do want you to get a drug evaluation just to make sure, you know, even as a seller, you probably need to go to some AA meetings to see what you're doing to others.
No
So that's
problem.
what I'm gonna say you need to go to 2 AA meetings a week. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Don't about the other stuff. Just go to 2 AA meetings.
grant condition of 2 AA meetings a week.
Right.
Okay, I concur with my friends on the board here. That sounds good. Grant with 2 meetings a week. And don't make us out to be having made a foolish decision, okay?
Sir, I promise I won't. I really appreciate y'all. God bless.
Okay, that will conclude this hearing at 10:58 in the morning.
It's over with.
Can you hear us? You can hear us now?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, we can hear each other, so it's time to go. Good morning. We are at the Department of Corrections headquarters in Baton Rouge. My name is Steve Prater, and I'm the acting chairman this morning. And to my right is Chucky Tillis. To my left is Pete Freeman. And we're here to hear the parole hearing for Mr. Vincent Allen, who we'll talk to in just a minute. But before we do that, could we have everyone in the room identify themselves, please?
Yes, sir. I'm Deputy Warden Brent Thompson.
Assistant Warden Crystal Simon. And ARD Supervisor Sybil Ryder.
Okay, good morning, and thank you for arranging this. The room looks really nice, and I appreciate that. Okay, the time is 11:06. Today is the 10th of July of 2024, and we'll get straight into this hearing. But I want to make sure that we're talking to the right person. And so you are Mr. Vincent Allen, and listen to these facts and see if this is correct. Your DLC number is 132721. You were born September the 10th of 1966. You're a third felon. And is all of that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the way we'll conduct this here, and so that you'll know how we're going to do this, is that we will get you to make a statement to say what you feel like you want to say, of why we should grant you parole. Why, tell us about that. Then we'll ask the assistant warden to tell us something about your behavior pattern there and what's been going on there. Then we will move down to the ones that are to support you, and we will hear from Chloe Denman from the First 72 Plus organization. We'll hear from Natasha Randolph, who is your sister, and we'll hear from Linda Allen. And just so you know, there's some folks that are encouraging you that are listening to this also. We have Aquila, Andy, Vernon Edwards, Taylor Caree, Lawrence Pickney, and Vincent Brown. And I probably said many of those names wrong, and I apologize, but you probably know, because they're supportive of you, who they were. So we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll let you open this up, Mr. Allen, with any comments that you have to make as to why we should allow you parole.
Yes, sir. I would like to start by saying, since my incarceration, it has been a challenge, life experience, but through it all, what has helped me with my transformation is my relationship with God. I'm big on reformation, but I got to give God the glory, because the transformation is what has changed my life with my relationship with God. And all the programs that I have taken, they are implemented in my transformation with my relationship with God. And what it has helped me to do is understand that life is not just about me, because before my incarceration and the way that I lived my life, I was a selfish person. But with my transformation and my regeneration with God, it has helped me to become selfless, and understand that I have so much now to give back. And I understand that not just in here, but in the world, so many people are hurting, and people have habits and hang-ups and health issues. And it just do my heart well to know that God would just give me an opportunity to be able to help somebody else in a dying time, like in the time that we're living in now, that He has given me an opportunity to be an asset to so many lives, to have opportunity to touch people's lives. I know I'm a third offender, and when I came to prison the first time, I was the problem. And I left as the problem. The second time I came to prison as a problem, and I left as the problem. This time I came to prison in 2003, I came as the problem. But if I'm granted parole, I know within my heart and God knows I will be leaving as a solution.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate that statement. Is that all you had to say at this particular time?
No, sir, that's not all. And I just would like to apologize to the victim's family for the crime that I committed against Llewellyn Howard. And to the DA, to the judges, to y'all, to everybody that was involved. I just want to say apology to them, to my family that I hurt, and so many others.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Who would like to speak on behalf of the institution?
Yes, sir. This is Deputy Warden Brent Thompson.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir. I can definitely say Vincent Allen has been very, very instrumental with the inmate population here. He's been highly involved in getting trying to help some of the offender population with different programs. He took the moral compass. He's down the walk. He's with some of the programs in the class with these offenders here. They've been very, very busy with it. Been very dedicated and diligent with it. I just want to speak on his behalf before that's concerned.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, now we'll move into supporters. Let's see. Chloe Denman. Is Chloe on the Zoom call? Would you start off, please? Chloe Denman. Okay, let's go with Natasha Randolph. This your sister. Natasha, would you talk to us a little bit about Vincent?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you good.
You can hear me good. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
I haven't seen you in so long, and I just want you to know I love you. And I just want to let everyone know that my brother has always been my biggest protector. And as we were growing up, he was the biggest big brother. He took care of me and made sure that I was safe. And he wouldn't let anyone, harm me. And I was always right there by his side. We had to hold hands walking to school. And he would always put me first. And he's just always would just step up and take care of me. And that's how I remembered him all this time, just as my big brother, my protector. He looked out. He always wanted me to do my best. And so I believe in my brother's ability to turn his life around. And I've watched him tremendously with his growth during his time in prison. And I know that he is reformed just from the many conversations I've had with him, the many letters that we've exchanged. And I'm so proud of his leadership and his mentorship while there. And I know that he is ready to re-enter society and be a good man. And I know that just from speaking with him. And I love him so much. I haven't seen him in over 20 years, and I think it's time. I want to see his face I love him so much, and I can't wait. And I hope that this process, thank you all for being here and allowing this process to take place. And I'm so glad to see my brother sitting there with all the hope that he has. I love you, brother.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate those comments, Ms. Randolph. Okay, Linda Allen. Linda couldn't connect, and Chloe is not answered. Okay, I guess that'll take care of the supporters then, since others weren't able to connect. All right, we will move in now to the way we handle these hearings is we've heard your statement, we've heard your supporters, we've heard your institutional record. Now we'll move into the three of us. We each get assigned a certain number of cases, and although we all read all the cases, that particular person takes the lead in questioning you because they know even more about the case than anyone else. So in this case, Pete Freeman, I believe this is yours, isn't it?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman will take the lead, and then we'll ask any questions if any come up. So Mr. Freeman, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Vincent Allen, how old are you?
57.
Okay. And how many years have you served on this charge?
21 and a half years.
1.5 years. Okay. So at first you pled to a forcible rape. Is that correct? Aggravated crime against nature?
Yes, sir, in 1989.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that event. What happened?
Me and some buddies of mine, we was going out to commit an armed robbery that night, and we stopped at a club on Claiborne and Dumaine, and one of my buddies, he met this young lady. He was sitting on the car talking to her, and I went in the store to get something to eat, and I came out while she was sitting on the car. I asked him what was going on with her. He explained to me that she wanted to exchange sex for some crack cocaine. Me, him, and my buddy, we all ended up going to City Park, and we had sex with the young lady, and they had a police officer came, pulled up. It was after 12 o'clock that night. Both of my buddies, former partner cohorts, they panicked, they took off running. I stayed with the young lady. I didn't understand why they ran. When the police came, I talked to her, I told the young lady everything was all right, it was gonna be okay. When they came up, they talked to me and the young lady, we explained to them we were just out hanging out in the park. And when they found out that the young lady was on probation and she shouldn't have been out after dark, she went, stepped in front of the car, put her hand between her legs and told the officers that we had raped her. And I told the officers, I said, that's not true, that's not a lie. I mean, that's a lie, that we had exchanged to have sex with her for crack cocaine. And we was arrested. When we got there, we was beaten, and we was told that we was facing a life sentence. And I didn't want to accept the time. I talked to my mom. I told my mom I didn't do it. We had a beautiful relationship, and I told her I would never lie to her. I said, Mom, anything else? I said, I would have done it, but I didn't do this here. But to avoid getting a life sentence, I carved out to the charge.
And then you got a pretty good sentence off of the charge, but you got 40 years, 30 suspended?
5 years probation and 5 years parole.
Right. And then you were on parole for that charge when you committed the murder, correct?
Correct. I still had 2 years left to do.
Okay, tell me what happened with the murder charge.
That day that I had just got my income tax check, and me and my fiance, we went paid some money on the rings. We went and got something to eat. I dropped her and her granddaughter off at home, and I left the house that night. She asked me to stay, and I left that night to go get some crack cocaine. I stopped by my uncle's house, but he wasn't home. I saw a good friend of the family standing on the corner, which was Mr. Llewellyn Howard, the victim. My first mind, I started to give him some money. I had $1,200 on me, but I didn't. I took him with me. We went, got the cocaine. We made it back to his house where we smoked the drugs. I ended up leaving, and I was about to stop at another lady friend's house. And I met another friend of mine on my way to her house. And when I got ready to let her in the car, I leaned over to open the door. I noticed that my wallet was missing with the $1,200 in it. So I drove back to Mr. Llewellyn's house where we had an argument. We ended up fighting. I got in a fight with the brother. The brother ended up calling the police. Mr. Llewellyn Howard offered to ride back several places we had stopped before we got the coke to help me find a wallet. He got in the car with me, and we ended up in New Orleans East where we got in another fight where I ended up stabbing him. Brought him back to the lower 9th Ward, dropped him off at 2041 Treacle Street, which is my grandparents' address, and left, not expecting him to die, but knowing that he had been wounded. So the following morning, I got up to go bring my mama to run her errands. When I came to the door, she had asked me what happened that night. I told her nothing much. She said, you sure? I said, that now that I know her, why? She said, what, you had somebody with you? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I told her who I had with me, Mr. Llewellyn Howard. She said, did y'all get into an altercation? I said, yeah, ma. She said, what happened? And I told her what happened with the fight and everything. She said, well, did you know that those stab wounds led to his death? And I just bent over and I said, no, I didn't know that. I didn't intend for him to die.
Okay.
I went on a run 3 days later, then I turned myself in.
Okay, and you knew Mr. Howard, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, matter of fact, y'all had grown up together, correct?
Yes, sir. He was a friend of the family. We used to watch football games together on the weekend and so forth.
And y'all had fought that a whole day about this wallet, correct? On and off, arguing about it and stuff?
It happened at night, sir.
Okay, but y'all did have, I mean, it was a kind of ongoing through that night. Y'all were back and forth about this wallet, correct?
Yes, sir. We was going back and forth about the wallet, but we only fought. We had 2 fights. The first one in his house, and the second one in New Orleans East.
All right. Looking at things, your family is unopposed, as we saw by you one speaker. The chief is opposed. Michael Ward is opposed. The victim's daughter is strongly opposed in the rape conviction. It truly did affect her life. She wrote a real compassionate letter that we have all read. And also Mr. Howard's brother wrote a letter, and he's opposed to you getting out at this time. Where will you live? Well, you're gonna be at the first 72, correct?
I had contacted the first 72, and they offered me a job. But I also met with Mrs. Lisa Carrier. She's from the Offender Housing Program. She had offered me a job at a supermarket cutting meat at $13 an hour. And she also had offered me an apartment. Her name is Miss Lisa Carrier from out of Marrero.
Okay.
She told me if I made it, she would be there to pick me up.
Max, why you haven't taken hardly any classes since you've been in prison? Besides theological and stuff.
When you say classes?
I mean, like classes to improve yourself, anger management.
I have over 20 certificates. I got my GED and I finished Bible college.
I saw that, but we don't have any certificates for any classes.
Classification they had mailed them to them. I got them all right here with me here.
Okay, so you've taken anger management and all of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we wanted to say it. We don't have any classes. Did y'all see any classes? I didn't see any.
I saw a lot of shit.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Did you take sex offender class?
I was in the me and the warden was talking about that on Monday. I was in the sex offender class on the street. I was taking the class when I caught the murder charge. When I came to prison in 2012, I was in the class, but I started getting my GED. I was working on my GED. I talked to Miss Deborah Cook, Warden Cook's wife, and she recommended that I pursue my education. And she had put me on backlog for the sex offender class. Then the class was 2 years. So when 2014 came around, I talked to her again, and she said she had me on backlog, but they had other guys that was going up for parole before me that had less time than I had. So they was started the class before I did. So when 16 came around, I ended up going to Bible college.
Okay, y'all don't have that class there, do you, Warden?
No, sir.
Sex offender class?
No, we do have the sex offender class. We do have that. He's currently on the backlog for it.
Okay. And I'm looking at your record. I mean, you've been in 21 years. You've taken 4 classes.
No, I have more than 4. I have 20 certificates.
Garbage growth, which I know that's a bunch. Anger management, moral compass, and Tyro leadership. Only other thing you got is that $100 pre-release.
Yeah, here are my certificates here.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Your write-ups, they're pretty good. I don't think you've had any since 2016. I think it was.
Correct.
I think it wasn't many write-ups. What are you gonna do about do you have any drug problem?
No, sir.
Ever used drug? Okay. What I take it with your religious background, you teach at the prison? Do you hold substances and stuff? Okay, that's what I think. Okay. All right, we thank you for that service. Any other things you do?
I teach the moral compass class. I'm the pastor of the United Fellowship. I teach Bible study. And I teach compass, and I teach UARF, understanding and reducing angry feelings. I teach 4 classes.
Yes, I have a feeling you teach. Okay, Warden, anything you want to say? I have nothing further.
No, sir. He and I talked just on the other day, and that's my biggest concern, to be honest with you, that he had to get involved with those sex offender classes. And he and I did discuss that.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Vincent Allen, how are you?
I'm doing fine, sir.
How long have you been incarcerated where you are now?
2 years here.
3 years. Where were you?
A little over 2 years.
And the other places, where were you?
I've been in so many different prisons after the Hurricane Katrina. I was moved all around from Florida to Angola, DCI, different satellite camps, Fort Wade.
How long did you stay at Angola?
I went there 07 to 09, and then from 16 to 22.
I got you. You said you didn't have any drug problems. You had some drug classes?
Yes, sir. I've taken drug classes, sir.
I mean, you said you were doing crack when you were doing, especially with sexual encounter with a lady. You were doing crack then, and you were doing crack when you and your friend got into it.
At the time of the crimes, yes, sir.
But you're not doing any now?
No, sir.
I was impressed with your story. I think you feel remorse, and I think you Seems like you're on the right road. I'm impressed. I have no more questions.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I in turn want to tell you how you're an inspiration to some of the things that you've done while in jail. The problem that I have is the victim opposition. And one time you were out on parole, you killed somebody. And the story about the lady, she told, according to the police report, it was a completely different story. You know, about getting kidnapped and that sort of thing. So I don't know who to believe there. I do know that you pled to something, and why you pled to it, you know, I buy your story, you know, if that's what you say, but what we look at is the facts on here. So I was just curious about those things. That's all I got. Okay. Oh, yes.
Okay, we're ready to vote, Mr. Allen. I'll be voting first because I had your case. Your time in prison, Mr. Allen, has been wonderful. You did great in 21 years. The big hangup is that you have two major convictions. I mean, major violent crimes, and you got breaks on both of them. I mean, you actually got 40 years suspended, all but 30. So you got 10 on the first one. And instead of second degree murder, you got manslaughter on the second. And quite frankly, you got to get that sex offender class completed. It's not a requirement, but I think very highly of it, as you can tell. So my vote today is going to be not to grant, to encourage you to take that sex offender class. Y'all have it right there at the prison. And you need more classes. I mean, you need to quit teaching classes, start taking classes. I mean, you mentioned drugs twice, and then when I say you're a drug addict or you have a drug problem, you say no. Well, to me, that's not being truthful with yourself. I mean, you was on cocaine and you did both things. So obviously that's your trigger. You got a cocaine problem. So my vote today, that's my vote, but I encourage you to reapply as soon as you get that class taken.
Mr. Allen, my vote would be to grant parole with the conditions that you take some sexual classes and some drug classes. And I would hope you would continue doing better in your life.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I can't in good faith and looking at the citizens that we represent on the streets, if I would ask the question, here's a fellow that brutalized a woman and then while on parole for that, after getting a good break, went ahead and stabbed somebody to death. Even though you've done well, and I congratulate you, I applaud your behavior there. My vote is to deny your parole request. And so having said that, this majority rules in something like this, so it's 2-1. So your parole at a particular time is denied. I encourage you to apply again because you're on the right road of convincing us that we can stand before the people we represent and say that this man is not going to be a threat to society when he gets out. And so having said that, the parole is denied. That's the end of this hearing.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Okay, good morning. It's 11:40. We're at the DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. My name is Steve Prater. I'm the acting chairman this morning, so I'll be kind of reading some stuff to make sure we've got the right person and get this thing started. And then my friends here, my fellow board members here, Chucky Tillis on my right, Pete Freeman on my left, we'll be doing some questioning later on. The way we want to proceed with this is that we're going to hear what you have to say to begin with. And then we're going to move into the institution to see who's going to be speaking for the institution there at Allen and tell us what kind of prisoner you've been. Then we'll move into any pro getting out folks, any that are for your parole, and then we'll move into any that are against your parole. Then we will move into our question of you on the board. And Mr. Tillis is in charge of this particular hearing because he's the one that has studied your case the greatest. Then we'll have a vote and we'll see if you're granted parole or not for today. So having said all that, I need to confirm to make sure that you are who you are, and then we'll turn the floor over to you. And your name is Thaddeus Harrell, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your DOC number is 437-062. Your date of birth is 10/7/75. You're a second offender class. You're in for second degree kidnapping, home invasion, second degree cruelty to the infirm. Is all of that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Having said that, now it gets to be your turn, and try not to be nervous. I know it's hard talking to a TV camera or a phone or a computer anyway, but just act like you're in the room with the three of us and tell us why you think that you deserve to be allowed out on parole. Okay, go ahead.
Well, sir, through my 13 years of incarceration, I have changed. I have built integrity, humility, because at one time I was not a person that had gratitude or humility and integrity. And through the tools that I picked up in my classes, such as thinking for a change, anger management, free release, victim impact, I've learned that when you make wrong decisions, you affect a lot of people. You affect people that, that don't deserve to be heard, that are innocent, and you're supposed to love them. You're supposed to treat them, respect them, and everything. And as far as for me, wanting to go on because I feel that I owe the world another chance to help people, get my life in order, be a grandfather to my grandchildren, and be a father to my kids.
Okay. Thank you. That concludes the statement that you have for right now. We're not through talking, but that's what you had to say.
No, I would want to say that I'm truly and deeply sorry for affecting my victims. I'm very remorseful, but they didn't deserve that. They didn't deserve to be heard. And the decisions I made traumatized them, the kids that was involved. And I hope that we can move forward and I can be forgiven and hope that they can forgive me and have another second chance at life, and I can get this right with family and, just live accordingly.
Okay. All right. Warden, would you tell us what kind of fellow this has been while he's been incarcerated?
Yes, sir. He's been doing pretty good. He really has. Currently, right now, he's considered to be actually a Class A trustee, which requires minimum supervision. He worked closely with a lot of my staff here, never caused any kind of problems or trouble. He works as our car washer, they take care of the staff cars and things like that, which is a very trustworthy job. He does a good job with it. His disciplinary record is pretty good. I knew Harold at Angola when I had to work over there as well, and he always carried himself to be pretty good. But he's doing a good job. He really is.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir, for that. All right, now we'll move into the, I don't see anybody here to speak for you. Let's see, Mr. Meyer, Randall Meyer.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Randall Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. And we are, I've got some concerns with Mr. Harrell, so we're opposed to his request at this time. I see he got his GED back in 2014, which is good. And, some of his certificates, it looks like he's been trying to work on some of his problems. But, the progress report in the record states he's got a fair institutional record, despite what the warden there had said about him. And, his arrests, he's had 8 arrests, all for violent crimes against the person. Very concerning. He's had 4 other cases of domestic abuse besides the case we're talking about that he's incarcerated for. His disciplinary reports include fighting, aggravated disobedience, and a sex offense. While he was on supervision, he didn't do too good of a job. He was released once on good time and revoked, went back to jail, released the second time on good time, and he full termed out 41 days after that second good time release. I'm concerned. I'd like to see, I think he needs more help with his anger issues. And I'd like to see more time served dealing with specifically with the anger issues. If he's released today or if he's released on good time, I was kind of looking to see when that might be.
It's good time here.
July of 25, it looks like it'll be, unless he's earned some time. I'd request that at either time, if he's released on parole or released on good time in the future, that a diminution of sentence be placed on him to where he can have no contact with the victim or her family. I think that's important in this case, with the violence he committed on both her elderly father and his the victim of the kidnapping and such. So for those reasons, we're opposed.
Okay, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. And now, as we're going along with the agenda, as we stated, we'll move into the part where we interview you and ask particular questions. Mr. Tillis, are you ready to?
Yes. I noticed you hadn't had any write-ups since 2022, I believe, correct?
Yes, sir.
What happened there?
Coming from work, I worked late. I was in infirmary all day. I worked late and late at night. I came in, I'm very tired, sleepy. And I got in bed, the officer kicked my bed and asked me to get my bed in order, which it was in order, but I had a sticker on my locker saying that I'm an infirmary all day at night, so I can sleep during the day. I can get under my covers, but he kicked my bed, and I took offense to it, and we had words. He said something to me that was rather offensive. I took it personal, and I went up to him, and I had some choice words for him, reacted, and went to the blocks.
I see. And you've taken some sexual classes, haven't you? Sexual abuse?
Sexual abuse? No.
Yes.
No, sir.
I thought you had.
Sexual abuse, like?
Well, you and the young lady had altercation. Huh? You and your girlfriend, was that your girlfriend you had a problem with? Domestic?
Yeah, we had a domestic abuse, but not sexual.
I'm sorry. I meant domestic. You've taken classes?
Yes, sir. I've taken anger management. I've taken this new class called OASIS. It's a domestic abuse prevention crisis class. I got a certificate for it.
Have you got your temper under control yet?
Yes, sir. Work on it. I work on it tirelessly every day.
I see. What do you plan to do if released?
Well, go to work, try as a truck driver, save up some money. I can own me a car wash detail shop because I love to wash cars.
Where do you plan to live?
Well, I got with First 72 and just nonprofit organization. This will help me get transitional housing, food stamps, help me get, a place to stay until I can get on my feet. Because I lost all my immediate family, my grandparents, my mom, they're deceased. And I have no father figure. And the only person I really have out there is my little sister. And she's living on Section 8. I have a grown son that lives in Denver, Colorado. And my oldest son, he's locked up right now.
If released, you think you could follow the rules and regulations, probation or all?
Yes, sir.
Seem like you've been doing a pretty good job where you are.
Yes, sir.
Great. I have no more questions.
The confrontations, you had with the officer, did it become physical?
No, sir.
It was verbal altercation, and that happened where? What prison were you at?
Here at Allen Correctional Center.
Warden, could you add more to that? Tell us kind of what went on? I mean.
No, sir, I'm not familiar with
Or
it.
have anything special?
No, sir, and I don't have a copy of the DB report here as well.
Okay, so, but it basically it had to be kind of like that. Okay, have you ever had a drug problem?
No, sir. Never
You ever
did drugs,
used
no
drugs?
alcohol.
You ever used drugs?
No, sir.
I have no further questions. How long was that Oasis class? I'm sorry. How long did that, was it an 8-week class?
13 weeks.
13 weeks, okay. We got 8 weeks. Okay, thank you.
Okay, on the ag battery case that you had in 2001, what was that about?
Me at the time, me and my wife at the time got in a physical altercation. And I assaulted her. We got into an argument about me leaving and all that. We got into a fight that wound up becoming physical. I got real violent. I got, it went to the worst. She suffered permanent injuries that I regret.
Okay, and you were released on parole then, and you violated the parole. Was it, when you violated it, was that with this next situation?
I went to Texas, when Hurricane Katrina hit, I went to Texas. And got into a big argument, getting into a big argument. At that time, I was very immature, not thinking, making bad decisions with my attitude, with my anger. I was very immature at that time.
Okay. And that's what violated your parole.
Yeah, I went to that and being at Absconding, going to Texas.
Okay, going. Okay, and then the other thing that kind of bothers me is the kidnapping. And then it was the next day that you went over and confronted the father, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you keep your anger that long? I mean, usually a person gets, in my experience, a person gets angry and then they're okay in a couple hours or something. But the next day you're already over at the dad's house, shoving him around.
I was just very frustrated. I was very frustrated, very aggravated about a lot of things that happened between me and my ex. And again, just making bad decisions. I made a bad decision, a bad choice. Just being.
Okay, I appreciate you admitting all of that. and it sounds like you are remorseful and that you've grown a lot. Does seem like that. Okay. Y'all ready to vote? Ready to vote?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Harrell, you're a big man. And, I hope that you have calmed down. And my vote today is going to be to grant with conditions of you continuing some anger management classes. I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes I get angry. It's easy to throw a punch. Very difficult not to. And I would hope if you would continue taking some classes that you could control that. So my vote today is to grant parole.
Okay, you know, I'm having a lot of trouble with this. I mean, your past history is terrible. I mean, with the domestic abuse batteries, like they say, you're a big man. I mean, I think if you came after me, I could shoot you and a judge would let me off in a heartbeat. You know, so you got to control that anger, but you've taken the classes to do it. The warden spoke high of you. You took that 13-week class on domestic violence. You've spent what, 13 or 15 years? So you way over 80% mark. I'm gonna vote with Mr. Tillis and vote to give you a chance. Okay, but I'm gonna give you a 9 o'clock curfew. I want you on electronic monitor provided by the probation and parole office. And if they have the victim's address, I want it to be included as an exclusion zone that you cannot go into. And you are not to be around this victim whatsoever. If you see her, don't even try to tell her hello or anything, you leave. Okay? You leave. And I wish you luck. I mean, I think you did everything right this time and you served time. And like I said, you served 13 or 15 years. So I'm gonna take that chance on you. I hope you don't let me down.
Well, now, sir, thank you.
Okay, and I want to applaud you for the growth that you've had and all that, but my vote is to deny because of the fact that I think you're gonna be out in a year anyway. But I can't look at the people that I represent in the eye and say that this fellow with all this bad history that we're gonna give, because you got a pretty good break on every time you've been sentenced. You got a pretty good break. So my vote is to deny, but that doesn't really matter. So you're granted parole because it's 2-1 and majority wins. So it's a good day for you. And congratulations, you're granted parole with these stipulations, which are pretty severe stipulations. Anyway, that'll conclude this hearing at 11:58. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Watch it. All right.
Barely caught that.
He's getting out in 20.
Okay, good morning, or good afternoon, sorry, it's afternoon, it's 12:06, we're at the Department of Corrections headquarters. My name is Steve Prater, I'm the acting chairman today. To my right is Chucky Tillis, to my left is Pete Freeman. They're, the three of us are the panel that was chosen to hear your request. The way that we'll go today is you there from Allen Correctional Facility. We'll, first off, we'll hear what you have to say about as far as why you feel like you are worthy and deserving of a parole. And after you've given your statement, we'll hear from the warden to hear what kind of a fellow you've been, why you've been incarcerated at Allen. Then we will come to us, and I believe this one is Mr. Freeman's. He will lead the questioning. We'll ask you certain questions, and then we will all take a vote. And before we're through today, you will know exactly if you have earned your parole or not. And so that's the way we will conduct our business. So having said all of that, I want to put you at ease as best you can. I know you're nervous. You got a lot riding on this, but I want you to be at ease. Speak to us as if we were in the same room together, and just speak from your heart and tell us why you feel like you are deserving of a parole. And go ahead and start anytime you're ready.
For my whole life, man, I've been in this place since I was a kid, man. I know what I did. I lost everything I had behind something stupid. 19 years old, I robbed this man for no reason, for no purpose, for no justification at all. And I lost my whole life behind nothing. Behind nothing. I do everything I can to show that then I'm a grown man now. I know a direction. I didn't have it. I didn't have direction, man. I didn't have it. I lost family members and everything behind one night, one stupid decision, and I'm ready. I'll never make another decision like that again.
Okay. All right, is that your statement that you want to tell us? We can tell it's from your heart. Not trying to rut, but if that's it.
I'm very sorry, man. I'm very sorry.
Okay. Warden, tell us what kind of fella he's been.
Yes, sir. I honestly can say, from the DEON LEE has been doing very, very good here at Allen Correctional Center. He works independently by himself. He's a Class A trustee. Needs minimum supervision, the jobs that he has to do here. He's always willing to help out in the areas that he has to work in at. He's one of those offenders we can assign to different jobs, different tasks, with no complaints at all. Like I said, he needs very, very minimal supervision. I trust him around my staff a lot, working with minimum supervision, because of the fact of the matter, we can really trust him in doing the job that needs to get done. And he's been doing very well here.
Okay, thank you, Warden. We appreciate that. Okay, the lead interrogator or questioner or interviewer, whatever you want to call him, is Mr. Pete Freeman. Mr. Freeman, would you take the lead?
Yes, sir. Okay, how old are you?
46.
How old were you when you came to jail?
19.
19. Okay, did you have any juvenile record?
I stole a go-kart or some candy. That's about it.
Okay, and tell us what happened in this offense. You stole, Mr. Hall's car at gunpoint. What was going through your mind? What you wanted that car for? Were you on drugs?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you were using at the time. What were you using?
I was some everything, crack, weed.
How old were you when you started using drugs?
16.
Okay, and what have you done since you've been incarcerated to try to break this habit of drugs?
I competed I competed on NAA and I try to stay busy.
All right, I see, the district attorney is opposed, the victim is opposed. Looks like you lost 532 days of good time. What was that for?
When I first come to prison, they had us, field line where you have to use. I didn't know how to work. I didn't know how to do nothing. My hands never done nothing day of my life. And I had to learn. Had to learn how to actually work, what it means to actually work. Never knew. Now I know how to work. That's all I knew.
Yes, yeah, I see that most of them are pretty old, but the last one you got was 4/24/19 aggravated work offense. What was that about?
I got a hernia, and the day before I went to the street to get a check, they said I don't need a hernia. I don't need surgery just yet. So instead of going the next day, I didn't go, and I got rolled up for it.
Okay. You were on supervision before, correct?
Yes.
Were you under supervision?
Probation.
Probation, okay, and that probation got revoked?
Yeah.
That was due to this charge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where are you gonna live?
My mother died. She left me my house in Glen Oaks, Baton Rouge, and I got a house.
Where you gonna work?
My stepdad worked for Dow Chemicals. He's a foreman, and I work for him.
You gonna be living with your stepdad or not?
Yes, sir.
You are gonna be living with him?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, I see you custody as men, but we still gotta kind of check that, Warden. They keep saying that they fair, and you telling me he's a great worker. But his institutional record's fair. I guess that's from the offenses a long time ago when he was doing yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. But the fact of the matter, when he first actually came into the system, so to speak, he had a rough start. But since being here and
He's done good over there.
Yes, sir. And working well being a trustee, he's doing pretty good.
Okay. I see you took living in balance 1 and 2. What did you get out of living in balance?
Well, I learned that they had us to come up with a slogan that we can use from that day forward that help us stay on the right path. I told them, well, I came up with eliminate the negative, establish the positive, and choose the better option. And that we go with. Put the best foot forward in everything you do.
Okay. So what's your current job at the prison?
Whatever they need.
Whatever they need. Okay.
Meaning
jack of all trades.
Yes. I do the dog kennel, I bush hog, I whatever needs to be done. Anything.
All right. You do any community service around the prison?
Yes, sir. Anything need to be done. Anything. Road crews, I do, painting, whatever. I love to work.
I see you got a support letter from Colonel Johns and Buford Johnson. Do they work at the prison or they work for the sheriff's office?
Well, Mr. Buford Johnson worked for the sheriff's office, but Colonel Johnson in prison.
Okay. They spoke very highly of it, as did the warden. Okay, I have no further questions, if y'all have any.
I've got one question, and Mr. Freeman, you maybe can answer this, but, and I should have asked this maybe before, but why is on the sentencing dates on his main sheet, 1998 revoked and 4/18 of 2018? What does that mean?
Well,
The main, excuse me just a minute, I want to make sure I got all the facts accurate.
Yeah.
I know you want that also.
about 4/18, right, he was put on in 1998, but it didn't get revoked till 4/18, that's when you got this probation revoked.
In jail then.
He full term while he was in jail, okay, but the probation was revoked, that probation's all over with. But
But he was incarcerated.
it was, right, but they revoked it for the new charge.
But the new charge was back.
Right, I
years
saw it on the
earlier.
rap sheet, yeah. They wrote it down how they did it.
No, okay, I'll ask you a simple, comfortable way. When did you go to jail?
In 1997, August 1997.
Have you been in jail the whole time till today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I was curious with because of that date there. It shows revoked, probation revoked in 2018. And I was saying to be revoked, you'd have to be out, but you don't have to be revoked to be in, even if you're in. Okay, it's just a bookkeeping thing. I want to make sure. Other than that, I don't have any questions. And thank you for straightening me out. I don't have any questions. I think it's
Can
time.
I act for an executive session on this one, please?
Sure.
I move for an executive.
Okay. A second.
All right. P. Freeman,
Yes.
Joe Timmons,
Yes.
Steve Frank.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna go into a brief executive session. And then it'll be very brief. We'll come out and let you know. We're not gonna be taking a vote back there, but there's a procedural matter probably about the date that I'm talking about that we need to talk about. So we're gonna talk about something. We'll be right back.
Not there. You've been in jail since. And now we got 97 to the day. I don't know what he's saying there. Well.
We need to vote on to go back into session. So we're,
Call.
P. Freeman,
Yes.
Steve Frank,
yes.
Joe Timmons.
Yes.
Okay, we're going back in. I didn't announce the time, but it's just been 4 minutes ago. But it's 12:20 PM now, and we're coming back out of executive session. And Mr. Freeman, would you vote for us?
Sure. Okay, Mr. Lee, it's a good case. You've done well. You did a bunch of classes. You have good recommendations from Colonel Jones and Buford Johnson. The warden has spoke highly of you, saying that you'll do everything you're supposed to do. I do think you had a problem when you got to prison. I like the way you explained it. You never worked before. You never worked with your hands, and that was pretty hard to go out there on that field line, I would imagine. I wouldn't imagine, I would know, because I used to have to bale hay when I was young, and that wasn't fun. But anyway, regardless of all of that, my vote today is going to be to grant with no contact with the victim. And you said you was on drugs when you did it. And you have taken drug classes since you've been out. Where are you going to be living, in New Orleans?
And
Baton Rouge, okay. And I'm also ordered that you report to the Baton Rouge Day Reporting Center. It's right next to their office to get an evaluation to see if you need drug treatment. Okay? All right, good luck to you. Don't let us down.
Mr. Tillman?
Mr. Lee, there was a saying that we had when I did prison ministry. The choices we make are the choices we have to live with. And you make some bad choices. Warden, you and your staff, I would like to commend you guys. I think you're doing a good job. I really appreciate what you're doing. And your staff weighs heavily on my decisions that I make. But at this time, Mr. Lee, I'm going to grant parole.
Hey, I'm not normally like this, but I'm gonna concur with my fellow friends, and but I'm scared because you got guns in your history. You know, guns scare me. Okay, I want you to promise me, look at me and promise me that you ain't gonna get near a gun. You're not gonna have one in your house, a car, nothing. You promise? All right, we're gonna grant you a chance this time because of you've been in jail a long time for this. And I think you earned it. That'll conclude this hearing. And the time is 12:23 p.m. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, sir. All right, Lee. You made it. Down frowning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good afternoon, morning, whatever, but it is 12:30. We're at the Department of Corrections in Baton Rouge. This is the three-person panel that will be hearing your parole request. My name is Steve Prater. I'm the acting chairman today for Cheryl Renatza. To my right is Chucky Tillis. To my left is Pete Freeman. And we'll be conducting this interview with you. The way that we will do this is that we will begin in just a few minutes. As soon as I'm through talking, we'll begin by asking you to give a statement as to why you feel like you're worthy of being paroled. Then we will ask the warden to talk about what kind of fellow you've been at the jail. Then from there, we'll go into allowing 3 of your supporters to talk. And just so you'll know, the supporters that are going to be speaking by Zoom call are Tracy Ragas, your cousin, Destiny Ragas, Dynasty Ragas, the father-in-law, and Dana Torregano, your sister. Is that close enough? How do you say that? Okay, and then I want you to know that Donald Ragas Jr., Dino Williams, and Dina Ragas are also listening. Yeah, I probably said all those names wrong. So if I did, I apologize to everybody. It's just because of my lack of being able to pronounce things. Okay, having said that, we'll have those that will speak, and then Randall Meyer, who is the ADA, will speak. And then we will each have a turn talking to you. I'll begin because I was the interviewer. I'll be the interviewer on your case, and then we'll turn it over to them, and then we'll take a vote. So me explaining what's going to happen will probably take longer than what's really going to happen. But we'll go ahead and begin with asking you, first off, I need to confirm that you are Donald Ragas, and your DLC number is 481685.
That's right.
Okay. So anyway, well, welcome. And now we're going to turn it over to you. And you tell us why you're worthy of a parole.
Well, what can I say? I've been down a long time. I've been in the kitchen for 21 years, been down for 21 years. I helped a lot of guys that worked in there, taught them, mentor them. I'm no longer the person I was, as I haven't a write-up since 2011. I have a family, a wife and kids, and I support them, they support me.
Okay.
I took a lot of I
Go
took
ahead.
a
I'm gonna
lot
rush
of classes. Mentor classes. I've done a lot. I work hard. Stay out of trouble.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Warden, what kind of fella has he been?
Yes, sir. I've been here a little over 2 years, and I can honestly say I never had an encounter with this offender here. And I think that's pretty commendable. His disciplinary record is very, very good. He's correct. He hadn't had a write-up since 2011. He's been here for 21 years and been working on the same job for 21 years in the kitchen. I think that's pretty commendable. But overall, he's doing a great job.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Zoom call. Let's talk to first Tracy.
How you doing?
Fine, Tracy. How are you?
I'm fine. Growing up, Donald Ragas has always been our mentor. He was always telling us right from wrong. he would convince us to do everything we need to do. First and foremost, he would say, handle your business, do your work, and it's easier to do the right thing than the wrong thing. So all of this is like mind-boggling, and till this day, I just don't know how to grasp everything that has taken place. We do miss him, and he has a strong foundation. We know once he does come home, we're all looking forward to helping him find employment, get back on his feet. We know he's going to work, and he's going to make sure we doing what we have to. He's been everybody's big brother, and we all love him. We really do. We really miss him. He's missed a lot in life, from grandkids growing up, grandmother passing, cousins passing, father passing, and it's a lot of things we just don't want him to miss out on. And we know he's a good person, and we miss him, and we're ready for him to come home.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate those comments coming from his cousin. Okay, the father-in-law.
Daughter-in-law.
Okay, it's written on here wrong. I was wondering how that worked out. That's why I had such trouble. That's why I had such trouble with the name. Okay. Go. Yes, ma'am. It's your turn.
Okay.
Just leave
Hello.
it at that.
Okay, good evening. My name is Dynasty Reas, and I'm the daughter-in-law. I'm gonna go ahead and read. I've written my speech down because I didn't want to miss anything. So again, I'm the daughter-in-law, and I choose to express this message on behalf of my father-in-law, Donald Reas, who has been incarcerated again at Allen Correctional Center for the past 21 years. This is his first and last offense he has and will ever commit. My father-in-law is now 57 years of age, and sadly, with the passing of his father in 2019, Donald Reas Sr., he only has a surviving mother, Diana Reas, 78 years of age, who he deeply loves, being the only son and the oldest child. She could utilize his assistance and care with his 50-year-old sister, who is autistic and has special daily needs. In addition, he has 3 oldest sons, Donald Reas Jr., present on next to me, 8 grandchildren, ages 11 years old and under, that he has not had the opportunity to have a strong build-a-bond or, a relationship with. 6 of them nurtured and cared for under me and his son, under our guardianship. 5 beautiful girls in the back of us, and 1 bouncing boy, Donald Reas III, who has the pleasure of meeting his grandfather this year, actually, on his birthday for the first time. I express this with deep gratitude, as myself didn't have the privilege of having a present biological father. He is all we know and the only biological male figure my children have to call grandpa. I want to thank him for his presence and love, even without being physically present through this challenging time. Everyone will greatly benefit from his presence in their day-to-day lives and activities, since it's been so long since we've been together as a family in a whole. Since his incarceration, my father-in-law has taken advantage of every opportunity from personal growth and development. He has completed multiple rehabilitation programs, including prison fellowship, prison survival, knowing God, Christian basics, Christian direction, Narcotics Anonymous, aid awareness course, character count course, Bridge to Freedom, anger management program, and leadership education class. He has also been labeled as the best cook at the facility. In addition to his participation in rehabilitation program, my father-in-law has worked hard to improve his skills and knowledge. He completed the OASIS, Domestic and Sexual Violence Awareness Prevention Program, Concession Manager Program, Serve Safe, and 100 hours pre-release program, King James Bible Study Correspondence Course for self-improvement purposes. My father-in-law has also been recognized for his integrity, honesty, loyalty, patience, open-mindedness, bravery, selfless, selflessness.
I think we got it.
We got it. And we do have, I didn't say this, we do have a
I was
time.
almost finished. I was almost finished.
Okay, if you almost finished, go ahead. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
was almost finished. Okay, he had helped many individuals before his prison time and while being incarcerated, known for putting others' needs before his own. So despite his incarceration, he has remained optimistic about his future. He frequently asks us for pictures of food trucks, RVs, cars, keeping his future bright. I'm gonna just skip to the bottom of my post. So we as a family believe my father-in-law have served his time and demonstrated his commitment to rehabilitation. We're 100% confident that he has much to contribute to society and deserves the opportunity to demonstrate his commitment to leading a productive and meaningful life. We are committed to continually supporting him. I'll stop there.
Thank you. You're a great daughter-in-law and you have a wonderful family behind you. And thank you for being with us. All right. Okay, let's see. Let's hear from Dana now, if we could, the sister. There we go. How are you? Okay, you're muted. You need to unmute.
Can't hear you.
Okay.
Now we got you.
Okay, thanks. First of all, hello everyone. I am Dana, Mr. Regas' sister. I want to keep it short and brief, like I was asked. To piggyback on everyone, yes, my brother is, I'd like to first express that, yes, he is the best big brother that anyone could ever ask for. And I want to take this time to tell him thank you for that. I just want to ask the board to please have mercy on Mr. Regas and our family, because everything definitely has affected all of us in a big way. And he's a big part of the family. He's truly missed and deeply loved. I can't express that enough. By granting us this second chance, and I do say us because it is truly our family that is going to embrace him and help him to get back in and just do everything that he needs to do and that we need to do as a family to contribute to society in a blessing in a positive way. Upon his release, like I said, I know the family, we're all ready, willing, and able to help him spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, in helping him develop and utilize the talents and gifts that he acquired during his time there with you guys. And thanks, I want to say thank you to everyone at Allen Correctional Center. They have truly been a blessing to him and to us as a family. And with that being said, I know that Mr. Regas will be a huge asset to our family, rejoining us and to society.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for those words. We appreciate that. You're an equally good sister. We appreciate that. Okay, next we'll hear from the opposition to your parole request. Mr. Randall Meyer, if you would talk to us, he's an assistant district attorney in Orleans Parish. So if you go ahead and give us your shot, please, sir.
It's Randall Meyer, assistant DA in Jefferson Parish.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jefferson. I said Orleans.
It's all right. The biggest concern I have with Mr. Regas is he's maintained throughout that he didn't commit this robbery, despite his wife's testimony that he told her he committed the robbery. The gun was registered to him and reported stolen the next day. The manager at the McDonald's who he worked with recognized his mannerisms, and another worker recognized his mannerisms and his voice. As a result, he was convicted of this charge. And during his clemency hearings with the pardon, he's maintained that he did not commit this offense. And that gives me some cause for concern. Note that the victim is not opposed to his release. He's in immediate custody at the facility. You know, he's taken quite a few programs, and he really has a pretty good disciplinary record. Only, I believe, 5. I think he only has 5 disciplinary reports. The last one being in 2011. I think on Mr. Regas, we're going to take no position on his request for parole. I think he's got a solid family back there, and I think they're going to help him out quite a bit.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, that's something you don't hear often. All right. Okay, we're back to you. We've had the pros and the cons, the fors and the against, and now the 3 of us, we have a number of cases each day. And so we have to have one particular interviewer, and that's me in this case. And I'll do the main interviewing, but then we'll turn it over to them for questions, and then we'll have our vote. So do you want
I didn't get to speak again.
Oh, okay. We'll let you. Yes, sir. We'll let you speak again. You got something that you want to tell us?
Oh, well, I didn't know from the first, I didn't know that I could speak on what happened.
Yes.
Go ahead. We want you to feel like you had a fair shot today to convince us that you get a parole. So you go ahead and say what you want to say.
Okay, in the process of what happened that led me to do this, that I have a wife, a girlfriend, and the bills, the car notes, the rents. I always had a job, 2 and 3 jobs to maintain. But I never got a chance to tell them that when I had to let the jobs go by doing this about 8, 9 years, I did go into McDonald's through the window, asked the manager to open the safe, and which I did take the money, left the gun, asked the manager to open the back door, and left. I never got a chance to explain that.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate that and appreciate you telling us what happened. That was kind of what I was going to ask was, did you do it? And of course, you said that you did it, and it's almost like you wanted to get caught. I mean, robbing the place where you work for the people you've been working with for that long, and leaving your wife's gun, that could be a problem. And so I got nothing. It seemed like you've done well. You served a lot of time. It was your first offense other than a traffic offense. That's all I got.
Okay. Just real quickly, as Mr. Chairman Prater, as he likes to be called, stated that that you have done well in prison. And we did want to hear what happened and why it happened. And what he really stated, it caught my eye. We don't see many true first offenders. You are a 100% true first offender besides some traffic citation. You know, and I also want to point out that at one time you were a tier walker, or you took tier walker training.
Yeah.
That's huge. And the warden will tell you, we don't find many people want to do the tier walking. It's a tough job, people that's listening out there. Real tough job.
Did say one that tried to kill himself. He hung himself, and I
you say?
Yeah.
Good. Appreciate that. Okay, and you're low risk, and like you said, you had no write-up, so I have nothing else.
Yeah, ain't nothing. Okay, I get to vote first, and you can tell from our jovial mood, because sometimes we don't get to be jovial, but the victim didn't have great opposition to this. You've been a model person there. You got a strong background. My vote is to grant your parole.
Okay, my vote, I also concur, and I want to thank the family members that showed up. I think they gonna keep you in line. I think Big Brother getting out, about to learn about Big Sister too. So, I do vote for you, and I wish you luck.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask to grant parole also with the condition that you, don't go by McDonald's for lunch. And, I hope that you continue on your road.
Okay, well, your parole this morning has been granted. Congratulations. Congratulations to the family. And that'll conclude all of our hearings for today. And that's all we've got at Allen. And the time is 12:50. And we appreciate y'all and your hospitality.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Learn from Mr. Mars. That's why you're so good at it.